My question really is like, how's the best way to secure another contract? I'm
Yeah,
reaching out to my contact at ALE. I've reached out to my contact at CRS. I reached out to CRS again today and then ALE a couple weeks ago. Like,
yeah,
what's the frequency that you're
yeah.
reaching out to these people?
Well, how are you reaching out to them?
Email.
Email, and they're
Mhm.
responsive.
ALE is responsive. CRS not so. So Luis at CRS never responds to me.
Yeah.
I've
By the
emailed
way,
him a couple times since.
that's not a bad thing, by the way. It just
Why?
means because it just means that I acknowledge it. I don't have anything, but if I were to
Okay.
take the time to
Fair.
reply to all the people that emailed me about things that they have, like, thanks for letting
Sure.
me know, that's a full-time
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
So don't take that,
Okay,
because
fair
the
enough.
reason I say that is I've seen threads that are
Mhm.
like, just today from United Corporate Housing was a thread that my one of my assistants had sent. And one of the things we have in particular, to you want to some tactics here, they are, you want to make sure that you're putting your region in the subject line, furnished
Okay.
property at where what city, state, number of bedrooms in the
Hold on.
subject line, right?
Okay.
The
I'm
reason
writing this
why
down.
the reason why I've spoken to the relocation specialist, and they'll do like a control find. You want to include like a one sheeter in your
Uh,
dude.
yep.
That's how they do it. They're like, where you remind me where you're based again?
North Carolina.
That's right. They'll do a control find, North Carolina, North Carolina. Oh, that's right. Andy, this guy has been emailing me,
That's
haven't
smart.
responded. I'm just telling you
Yeah.
what they do.
Yeah,
It's not even,
yeah.
I'm just from experience. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
do that, even if it's,
Okay.
and sometimes we've even emailed, hey, by the way, like, I want to make sure I'm not spamming your inbox, but I definitely want to stay
Hmm.
top of mind. Like, is
Yeah.
once every 2 weeks okay, or do you want me to trim it down to once a month? Now I like once every 2 weeks at least to stay top of mind. Once a week when we're super aggressive. But if you're getting the sense that, okay, they don't have anything, that doesn't mean stop, because sometimes we're like, oh yeah, that's right, I am working on something. And I'm like, dude,
Mhm.
so I'm in the database, I'm on, I'm everywhere. And if I didn't email you, you mean to tell me you wouldn't have emailed me back? So you wouldn't have thought of me. So just touch points, man. Touch points. Keep them cool. Tell a story sometimes, so it's not like coming off at spam. Like, hey, it's me just checking in
It's not a
again,
copy
Luis.
paste email.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems lazy.
Okay.
Just be like, hey, it's,
Mm-hmm.
we actually just
Mm-hmm.
redid our floors. That's one of the things we
Mm-hmm.
do after we've hosted two families. We want to make sure we upkeep the
Sure.
property. And for that reason, that's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
reaching out, because we always value going to people that we've worked with before. Anything
Okay.
available, boom. Like, it's just a storytelling, light, lean,
Quick and
kind of
easy.
cool.
Okay.
And then optimization is key, brother. Like,
Yeah.
that you did duplicate your listings, right? You just talked about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I can't tell you, man. People like Airbnb for work, the CRS temp housing for work, like, this stuff is real. And if you're not available, you won't pop up. The pet friendly,
Mm-hmm.
right? Zillow
Mm-hmm.
rental manager, you're on there,
I've looked at it. I haven't done it.
dude. Do it. They
Okay.
go there a lot. Do it. Don't
Okay.
look into it. Do it today.
Okay.
Because you don't even need like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
fancy pictures. Like, you just need to show availability, because they'll
Sure.
Zillow Rent a Manager is essentially their MLS, because every MLS
Mm-hmm.
feeds those Zillow anyway. So they'll do a lookup on
Sure.
Zillow. So you want to make sure you're
Okay.
there. Do
Mm-hmm.
those three things, man, and then DM me your wins, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. You got it. You got it. You bet.
That's awesome. Anything
What?
else? We got like I got another 8 minutes with you, man.
Uh, no, not really. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's super easy. Like
Dude.
it really
And
is. It
did you make the same or more or what this past year?
more. So with Sierra, oh, you mean for the year? Oh, I killed it for the year. I probably made an extra like 35,000 dollars. And like I netted more, right? Because it's less turnover, less cleaners, less everything.
No.
I cut my price labs, I cut Guesty, I cut all that for the 8 months. I mean, those are small dollars, right? But
No,
like,
no. Are you
why do I
kidding? They
need
add up. They add up.
why do I need price labs $20 a month when I'm
Yeah.
locked in for 6 or 7 months?
Yeah. Keep
Yeah,
in
so
mind,
no.
that's such a good point. Because you do that, right? You end up saving on costs.
Mm,
Make sure that
yeah.
when it's time to turn it back on, you kind of do a revamp. Because
Yes,
you're
I
probably
did.
not gonna be ranking on the first page again. You gotta like go in and you
Yep.
maybe use Rank Breeze to
Yep.
kind of optimize. Look at, dude,
Yep.
Price Lab's got some have you looked at the stuff that Price Lab has around like pricing.
They Yeah, I know they just did a big update and like a whole lot of new releases. I played with some. I was on vacation last week in the Bahamas, so I played with some of it. But I haven't had a chance, and then this week's just been slammed. But no, it's literally on my calendar for this weekend.
Do it.
Review Price Lab, review Price Lab's new stuff.
Yeah, go to the top
I
right
guess another.
corner and go to new revenue estimator
Yep.
pro. That one.
Okay. Okay. They're trying to copy DNA, Air DNA, right? I mean that's essentially what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to
Yeah.
take the
How
business.
accurate are those numbers?
Which ones?
All of them, all these scrapers. How
Dude,
accurate are they? Do
do
you
an
think?
average, man. The more data points you have, the better. If you can do mash
Yeah.
riser, AirDNA, like I got
Mhm.
married to AirDNA a little bit too much, but you got to take it with a grain of
Yeah.
salt because
Same.
some of their
Mm,
numbers will be skewed. So if you can take an aggregation of all three sources or
mm,
four, better too. Because
sure.
as an investor, we just want that peace of mind that hey, by the way, like
Absolutely.
I've taken an average of these, so at least across
Yeah.
all these four data aggregators, I should be able to feel pretty
Mm,
confident that this is falls within. And you'll see a trend too. You'll see an average.
okay.
So yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
would do.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mhm.
Quick question then. I know we have a little bit of time. Looking to buy a new midterm rental.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's no Air DNA doesn't gear
Right.
towards midterm. All these you can't estimate for ALE. You can't estimate for all these companies. I've asked around ALE, do they have any kind of trend analysis for regions? Obviously, there's not. I think you could probably collect some, but it's so hard to forecast someone's house exploding, right?
Yeah.
Um, so if I'm looking at a new property, what's the best way to target? Take short term rental and multiply it. Take long term rental and multiply it by some kind of factor, or
Yeah.
what's a good way to like evaluate and now analyze a new property?
Yeah. So I analyze all my properties as STRs first, right? Because that's the exit
Okay,
strategy, right?
yeah,
Um, and then after that, you know you have an idea that based on the napkin math, right? The home value is 20 to
mm,
30% of the coverage
sure,
area. That's gonna be like, okay, that could be what I could could comfortably charge because that's a relocation specialist is gonna relocate
mm,
like someone to your property. But I never
mm,
run anything with like a forecast of here's what my last MTR contract did in this area. No, because it's based on the asset
exactly.
type. I would think on the asset type. I mean, I've heard of different things about, you know, taking 50% of of that the STR number, etc. But that all depends. If you're talking about MTR, with
Yeah,
other booking like traveling nurses, all that, that's one thing, but that's not what we focus on, right? I focus on
hmm,
insurance. If that's going to be the
yeah,
case, I want to make sure my numbers in STR work, right?
yeah,
Because that's my exit strategy. So yeah, you
sure,
that matters, right?
yeah,
One of the things that yeah, one of the things that you definitely want to do is just focus on the asset type, like a 4 to 5 bedrooms. That's my sweet spot. That's what I like.
okay,
That's what I've seen has served the most people. It's not that
four
means you
to
can't get
five.
a contract with 2-2 or a 3-2.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have currently have a 3-2. We had 2 3-2s right now
I'm a
that
3-2.
had that, right? So it
Yeah,
works clearly, but
yeah.
what happens to that? Like I get inquiries, I need a family of four
Mm.
or five. Well, if I had invested
You,
in the
yeah,
asset, I can
yeah,
literally all of the above. Everything checks
yeah,
out. So keep that in mind.
mm,
Fenced in backyards, those are my key criterias.
yeah. Me
Um,
too.
you know, that to me is what I've seen has been the most prevalent. You know what I would ask though, and I haven't done already, and I love the fact that you asked that. It's like, you know, I would ask about the because I have someone in my network who literally has a good relationship with a relocation specialist. Like, can you give me deals that or literally filter people who need to stay for 6 months plus? I'm like,
Mm,
dude, that's nuts.
hmm,
But going back to the asset type, you use this exact same approach and be like, hey, like, which asset type do you typically like if I'm having a conversation
hmm,
with you, Andy, you're a relocation specialist. And by the way, that's my
hmm,
goal. If you meet someone who's like, I'm just trying to, I'm asking one of my coaches is like, what's the best way for me to get a relocation specialist. Like, what's in it for them to come on my show, right? Other people who have like podcast guests, there's always something in it for them. But if I'm just an employee, what's in it for me to come on Ruben's podcast? So, anyways, with that said, I'll speak it out into the existence. If I were speaking to you,
Interesting.
Andy, and you work at ALE, I would
Yeah,
say, hey,
yeah,
dude, how, like, what are the types of properties that you're relocating the most? And you might say,
mm,
honestly, 4-bedroom homes. And I would be confident if you said that. I'd be like, yeah, I believe you. Right. So it'd be interesting
mm,
to kind of hear it from the horse's mouth. Add that as an extra touch point when
yeah.
we talk to people and see what they say.
Dude, get someone on your podcast.
Dude,
Get a
I'm
specialist.
working on it.
Dude,
I'm
that would be
working it.
awesome.
I'm
Are you?
working on it. I'm
Okay.
trying to see what the nice angle would be, because typically people that I have, they have some kind of a platform, so there's an incentive to share their good word. Even like a public adjuster, that's his business or her business, so there's, an incentive. A
Sure.
lawyer, anyone, right? But in like a relocation specialist, they're checked out after 9 to 5. So why do they want to come on the
Yeah.
show for me? So I have to foster that relationship, which I'm working with. I might have a
Sure.
few in mind that I might, want to see if they're willing to come on the air. That would be
Yeah,
some
that'd be
valuable
cool.
insights, but that's gonna be my goal.
Oh,
So let's
absolutely.
stay tuned, brother.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll do. You mentioned adjusters. Is it worth going after them to secure
it's
contracts?
it's worth going after anyone. The only thing I would say is, what is your return on investment? Your higher return on time is going to
Exactly.
be people who do
Yeah.
it for a living, right? Because I've gone to
Okay.
the adjusters and they'll be like, "Oh, we like to work with the big vendors because we know they can handle volume." So it's not to mean that that
Mm,
person can't throw you 3 deals. You only need 1 or 2 deals per property to get it closed. So I
sure.
wouldn't close that door by any means, but I would just say, if you're a busy working professional like most of us are, and you're trying to get your highest return on your time and investment, I want to foster a relationship, or at least spend the time with the person who's literally what they do for a living is relocate families. So,
Absolutely. Okay.
yeah,
That was my take on it as well. It's like I can hit LinkedIn and find all these adjusters. I had my roof done, so I spoke to the adjuster that came over and we kind of like talked about it. But it's return on investments. Like I could spend a lot of time reaching out to adjusters, and it could pay off and it couldn't. But eh,
I think
yeah, I'm
everything is
I'm
worth
focusing on the big ones.
deep
Yeah,
relationships, deep root
agreed.
relationships, water that plant. Can't go wrong. Look at what we're
Mm.
doing. Started from a DM, now we here.
Yeah, no kidding, man. No
Yeah.
kidding.
I'll
Um,
definitely keep you top
um,
of mind in this marketplace, brother. And I'm really happy. Your cheers to your success. And I might cut out a snippet
yeah,
from what you
appreciate
said.
it.
You said it perfectly, man. You said
Yeah,
it
yeah,
perfectly.
yeah. You
Yeah.
bet. Yeah, you got it.
Awesome.
Yeah, use whatever you need. Yep. All right, Ruben. I appreciate it, brother.
You too, man. Conquer the rest of your
Cheers.
evening, brother.
Yeah.
Take care,
Yeah.
brother.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.